Hello, welcome everybody to OnlineStudy4u. This is a video on the TCS NQT coding problem that was appeared on 3rd August for the SLOT-1 batch. So we are going to discuss the coding question that was given to us by the students, and the students requested us to make this video and solve the question for them. Some of them were able to solve the questions and some of them were not, but don't worry, you will have plenty of other companies to try from. So in this video we're going to solve that problem, so pay attention and try to understand how the problem was solved, and you can so by doing so you can solve the further problems that will be given to you in your other interviews or examinations as such. So this is not the end of the world if you did not do well in the TCS NQT examination. Now that the 4th batch, also the 4th August examination has also been finished, we'll be putting out all the solutions and all the other stuff that you need for other interviews and examinations. So let us get started, and let us read the question what was given for the slot 1 of the 3rd August. So this is the question. So the question says a programming language has following keywords that cannot be used as identifiers. Okay, so break, case, continue, default, differ, else, for, func, go to, if, map, range, return, struct, type, where. So write a program to find if the given word is a keyword or not. So this is fairly simple question compared to other slots. So what this question says is that there is some programming language, okay, need not be a C programming language. So there is some programming language, and that has some of the keywords in that programming language. You cannot use them as your variable names. So identifiers are nothing but your variable names. So you will have a variable, and that variable name you cannot use these many keywords. So these are the keywords in that programming language that are given. So there are I think 16 of them here. So you have to write a program to find out if the given word is a keyword or not. Okay, so what happens is they'll give an input of strings like this. So there'll be a string, and you have to say whether that string is a keyword or not in your output. Okay, so that will be your job. This is fairly simple question considering other slots. So yeah, so let us see what are the input and output formats for this question. So the input format will be that you'll be given a string, and the length of that string will be 1 to 20. So the length of the string will be less than 20. Okay, so a single line of string which is to be tested. So this is a string which is to be tested whether it can be used as an identifier or not, and you have to test it against the keywords that are given in the question. Okay, so what will be the output is that on the screen you should print str. So str is nothing but the content of the string. If say let the content of the string is abc, you should print abc, and then this is the string that you have to print. So you should print abc is a keyword if it is a keyword. Otherwise you should print abc is not a keyword. So example is that if they give you an input saying differ, you should print differ is a keyword, because differ is in the set of keywords that in the programming languages, and differ cannot be used as a identifier name. So if they give you while, you can say that while is not a keyword. So why while is not a keyword is because in C programming language while is a keyword, but in this set of statements or in this set of words that are given for this programming language, in this hypothetical programming language for this question, while is not a keyword because that is not in this list. So that is the reason why you have to say that while is not a keyword. Okay, so that is what you have to do. So what is the explanation for this? How do we solve this question? How do we come up with the solution? So this is fairly simple if you know the basics of strings and arrays, maybe 1 and 2 dimensional arrays. Okay, so yeah, you can do this in multiple ways. You can do this in files, but your goal is to do this in very less time complexity as possible. So your code should be neat and it should take less time to execute, and that is what the goal is. So This is fairly simple. So they have given us a set of strings. So these are the set of strings that are our keywords. Okay, so let us say that is key k. So next what we have to do is they'll be giving us an input. Okay, let us say that is s, or let us say that is str is our input, as we said it in the previous slide. So they will give str as an input for us. So what we should do is we should iterate through this list or the strings, okay, and we should compare this str with each of them, okay, and we should say whether str is a keyword or not. So we should say whether str is a keyword or not, okay. So one of the following will be the output. So how do we do that? So fairly simple. So this is in theoretical point of view, how do we do that is we are going to compare this string to each string in this array. So this will be an array of strings, so there will be many arrays, so each one of this will be the keyword that are given, so we can store that here. So we will compare it to each one of them, and if it matches to any one of this strings that are given, any one of the keywords that are given in this k, we will say that it is a keyword. So we will say that it is a keyword. If it does not match, we'll say that it is not a keyword. Okay, so how do we come up with the solution in the programming point of view? So in the programming point of view, what we'll do is we'll say create a array called k, which is of 2 dimensions. Okay, so it is a 2-dimensional array. So what is a 2-dimensional array? 2-dimensional array is like a matrix. So what we'll do in 2-dimensional array, we'll store the strings here. So let us say our first string is break, that is given as a keyword. So we'll store break here. So we'll say break. So we'll not store the double quotes, I'm just representing it as a string. So in the next line we'll store the next keyword. So the next keyword is case. So case will be stored here. So we'll create such a matrix and we'll store it here. Okay, so this will be a 2-dimensional array. Okay, so let us say this k has some index number, and this also has some index number, and then next what we're going to do is we're going to take our string str, that is I'm just going to say s, in the program we'll use it as str. So what we're going to do is we are going to take that and we are going to compare it with the 2-dimensional array or matrix that we have taken above. So in that array we have stored all these numbers strings, and we are going to compare it with them. How do we do that? So we'll take a for loop and that will iterate, right? So that will iterate the process. So what we'll do is let me change the color. Yeah, so we'll take our s and we'll compare it with each of the k of I, right? So each of the k of I, we're going to compare it, and we are going to take a flag here, okay, along with the set, and initially we'll say flag is equal to 0, which means false. So if it matches, then we are going to say flag is equal to 1, and then we're going to break out of the loop. So here, if the value of the flag is 1, then we're going to say it is a keyword. If the flag is 0, then we'll say it is not a keyword. That is how simple this is. It is just a 2-dimensional string, array of strings, and just comparison of strings. So let us code this solution in our IDE, that is the code blocks, and we'll see for live how this works. So I'm going to just delete what are the contents that are here. So I'm going to write a fresh program. Okay, so let me include my stdio.h. so we'll be dealing with strings, so I'll include string.h also. Then next I'm going to have my main function. So I'm going to have my main function. In my main function I'm going to return 0, and so now from here what I'm going to do is I'm going to declare a character called say key. Okay, key is nothing but the set of keywords that are given to us. Okay, so this keyword will be a two-dimensional array. Okay, so this two-dimensional array will have all those strings that are there. Okay, so let me just copy this. So here what I'm going to say is first one is break, and after going here I'm going to say the next one is case, the next one will be continue, the next one will be default, and we'll do the same. So differ, else. So don't think that I have memorized this. I have written all these keywords in a paper and I am typing them out. So I don't have such a eidetic memory like maybe Sheldon in Big Bang Theory. Okay, so yeah, you may look at the question while if you're writing the examination. Now that the examinations are over, it's not a use, but if you're writing in the examination, the code editor will be just next to your question itself, so you can look at it and you can write your code. So that is not a problem. So the next one is map, and after map we have range, and after range we have return, and then we have struct, and then we have our type, and then we have where. That is the last one. So we have this many strings with us, and that is stored in our character array. That is a two-dimensional array. So next what we're going to do is we're going to take our the input. Okay, so let us say char str will be our input, and it will be a one string that is of size 20. Okay, so we'll declare that, and then we'll also declare a flag which is initially set to 0. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we'll say scanf %s will say str. So str is a string which is of size 20, and that will take the input. So you can comment it down, taking the input maybe. And now what we're going to do is loop through the array of strings and compare it with the input string to check if it is a keyword or not. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say int I is equal to 0. I should be lesser than strlen, that is the length of our input string, that is keyword key. So I'm going to say I plus plus. So what I'm going to do in this loop is that if that string, the input string, matches with the keyword, then the flag will be set to 1. So if strcmpi, it is just case sensitive, so I'm going to use strcmp itself. So if strcmp of str and our keyword of I, so ith keyword, is equal to 0, okay, that means this keyword and strings match. So what happens here is that let us say wait, let me erase this. So what happens here is you will have a string, say I have given what, okay, as the input. So I have given what as the input, and you will have some strings. Okay, so while you're comparing using strcmp, what it does is strcmp, it is going to take, so w has some ASCII value, so I'm going to use a different color for this. So w has some ASCII value, h has some ASCII value, a has some ASCII value, t and some ASCII value. There will be some numbers, say 36, 47. These are not the original numbers. I'm just saying hypothetical numbers. What it does is it adds up all the numbers and keeps an integer, that is a total. So if let us say we have these strings we are comparing our what with this string. So what it does is it does the same for this also. It is going to take a number and it is going to see if these two are equal or not. So this is 1, this is 2. Okay, so this is 1 and this is 2. So it is going to compare and give us the difference between the size of this. Okay, so if these strings are exactly the same, then this difference will be 0. So that means these two strings are same. If it is not, it will be a non-zero number. Okay, so here what we are doing is, if it is 0, we are going to say that our flag is equal to 1, which means that the string has matched, and we are going to say break out of the loop. Okay, after looping out, what we will say is if flag, so it means if the flag is correct, so that means it has matched the keyword. So we're going to say %s is a keyword. Okay, else what we're going to say, else what does it mean? It means that flag is not 1, flag is 0. That means it is not a keyword. So we'll say is not a keyword. So this is the program, this is the whole program. Okay, this is so much simple. You just have to compare the strings, and you just have to output if it is a keyword or not. So let us try to run and see if we'll get correct output. So you're getting an error, so has incomplete element type. So what did we do wrong? Everything is correct. So maybe I'm gonna enter like 16 and say 10. So now we'll see if it works properly. Yes, it works properly, but you've done a mistake. I remember it now. So we said %s, but we did not print our str here, so we'll definitely get an error. So what we're going to do is we're going to say str here. So this str will be given to this %s. So I think now it is proper. So this program has run. So let us say defer. So defer is a keyword, because if you see the list here, so we have defer in this list. So that is why this set defer is a keyword. So now while is not a keyword. If you say while, while is not a keyword, because while is not there in this list. So even if you see this whole list, okay, there is no while that is mentioned here. Okay, so while is not mentioned here if you see anywhere. So while is not a keyword. You may try it with other things. You may say online study. Okay, so this will ONLINESTUD. So that will be greater than 10 the size of the string. So I'll only take OnlineSTU. So it is not a keyword. So in order to take big strings, you need to change this. Okay, you can say this is 20. So yeah, this need not be 20. Our input is just 10. So that is what we're doing. So let us say this is a keyword, so this is not a keyword, and that is what is the program. So thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions, comment down them in the comment box, and if you want more videos on these kind of series for interview and examination, so please subscribe to our channel, and yeah, thank you.